Jim Rohn, and he was a personal development speaker. And he had this 3.5-hour seminar he would do that I went to when I was 17 years old. I was already reading books. I was obsessed with wanting answers. I want to know what made the difference in the quality of people's lives. Not because I was intellectually interested, but because I grew up in a really tough environment. I had 4 different fathers. There was a lot of, my mom was a great human being who loved me dearly, but she, abused both alcohol and prescription drugs, so she was very physically abusive. And I was, believe it or not, 5'1" in high school. I was a little guy, so I got the beat out of me pretty regularly for things that I didn't do anything to do with. And so it made me try to figure out what made her work, what makes life work. It made me more of a practical psychologist. And the modeling concept came because Jim Rohn used to have this phrase. He said, success leaves clues. He said, if there's anything you want in your life, don't assume that somebody has some special gift. They may have a gift, but they probably developed it, most of it. And if you sow the same seeds, you'll reap the same reward. So figure out what this person's doing different than anyone else and do that. He used to have a funny way of describing it. He used to say, Tony, find out what poor people read and don't read it. It's like, because he said, that's the fabric they're trying to build their mind from. Find out somebody who's successful, wealthy, not just financially wealthy, but somebody who's rich emotionally and spiritually and physically and financially, and find out how do they live their life differently? What are the things they believe? What are some of the daily disciplines that they're a part of? And so really early on, I got obsessive about wanting to have all the answers. So I said, I'm gonna read a book a day. Because I figured, a person takes 10, 15 years of their life, they pour 2 or 3, 4 years into this book, and you absorb in a few hours, literally a decade's worth of life experience. And I'm into compressing time. So I didn't read a book a day, but I read 700 books in the area of human development, psychology, physiology, all in my first 7 years of reading, right, my youth. In high school, I was Mr. Solution. You have a problem, I have the solution. Especially if you're a girl, I was especially motivated. I could really help you with your boyfriend. But seriously, so out of that, I started to develop this modeling concept. And then I learned neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP, and Gestalt therapy, and Ericksonian hypnosis. And I learned all these tools. But along the way, John Grinder, who was the co-founder of NLP, I said to him, NLP isn't all these patterns. You could teach a dog patterns. They're beautiful patterns, don't get me wrong. How to overcome a phobia, how to do those things. I learned how to do all that. But I was bored with that. I wanted to go deeper. I want to figure out how you change the whole person, not just their fear in this one area, or get them to perform at a different level. And so I said to him, really, your skill, NLP is really modeling. He said, Tony, no one's ever said that before. I said, you went out and you figured out the best patterns from the best therapists in the world, and you modeled those patterns and you integrated them with other tools, and now anyone can do them, right? Not just the great person. And so it kind of started with that for me. And then, people have been involved for 10 years, wanted to be his partner. So it's kind of controversial, but part of what I did was I said, I want to go and do things that people think are impossible. I want to take somebody who's in a coma and get them out. I want to take on the U.S. Army and say, show us anything you can do and I'll cut the training time in half and increase the competency. And so John agreed, and the first big project I got was the pistol shooting program. I went to this general and said, I can cut the training time in half on anything. I didn't know pistol shooting. And I said, and he goes, you're crazy. I said, no, I'm expensive. We kind of negotiated. And so the first thing he picks is this 4-day pistol shooting program that they had worked on for, almost 75 years. And he says to me, go do this. Right now we have 1/3 of the people that never qualify. Right. And I said, okay. And I thought I'd pull it off because John was my partner. He was in the special forces. We'll figure it out. The day I'm supposed to go, this is the great gift that John gave me. The day I'm supposed to go with him down to Langley, Virginia, and go underground in the secret area and work with all these different guys and kind of figure out how to model them. I figure I'm gonna learn from John. He's the best model in the world. He calls me up from a pay telephone in San Jose and says, I'm getting on a plane, I gotta go to Germany, it's an emergency, you're on your own, brother, and he hangs up. Oh. So now, I've never should have gone before in my life. I look like I'm 13, I was 24 years old, right? But I look like a little kid, I have such a young face. And I go meet these guys who've been shooting 24 years, or one guy. One was the best shooter in the armed forces as a whole, one was the best in the Army, and one was the best instructor. And so they walked in and said, where's the instructor? And I'm wearing jeans and a t-shirt, right? And I go, I'm him. And where's the instructor? And I'm not be able to reach or get interviews with everyone. I got them to tell me things they've never told anyone. And then I put it in this 700-page book, because I didn't write the book to just write a book. I wanted to take anybody, if they were somebody who was totally just starting the journey, let's say a kid coming out of college with all his student debt, or a baby boomer who's late in life and not knowing what to do, or an incredibly successful business person. I wanted whoever they were to be able to follow the universal steps that would take them from where they are to where they want to be financially. And I was able to do it because I got it from the best. It's like, there's not a word in that book that's my opinion when it comes to financial advice. It comes from Ray Dalio, the largest hedge fund in the world, 160 billion. A big hedge fund's 15 billion. When I was coaching him, when I was talking to him, he got a phone call from the premier of China who was asking for some coaching on some decisions they're making for China's currency, right? It was just, this is the kind of guy. You